Kristen, what is going on here? Why haven't you cleaned the stairs yet? They're filthy! I just walked by them now, and every single step had dust bunnies on them. Listen, Kristen, those stairs are more than just stairs. They're a passage that connects your unit to ours. Without them, how would you come downstairs to see us? If you're allowing these stairs to get so dirty, the only possible conclusion I can draw is that you feel the same way about your relationship with us. It's clear that you need lessons on how to be a respectable homemaker. Come down right now and I'll teach you how to clean properly. Mom? I think you should be able to tell just by looking at my massively expanded stomach that I am quite late in my pregnancy. And, having given birth yourself, you should also be very well aware that at this late stage of pregnancy, some activities, cleaning the stairs, for example, are quite difficult for the mother. Ha! You're not going to get out of doing your work with those miserable excuses. I managed to keep the house clean while I was pregnant for both Tony and Mina. That's the difference between you and me. I understand the concept of duty and perseverance, and you would prefer to just laze around all day. If I could do it 30 years ago, you can do it today. No excuses, Kristen. Now hurry up, grab the vacuum cleaner, and meet me at the base of the stairs this instant. Mom. But not half an hour ago you made me go to the supermarket to pick up groceries for you. Did you forget about that by any chance? What? It's a 10-minute walk down to the store empty-handed, and since I'll be carrying bags on my way back, physically it will be quite difficult for me to do much of anything other than carry the groceries home this instant. Oh, I suppose you're right. Now, if there's nothing else you need from me at the moment, could I get back to finishing up the grocery shopping? You're also making me cook dinner for you tonight, so the longer I take to finish up here, the later dinner is going to get. Well, fine, go ahead. Thank you for your understanding. Hello there, Kristen. I'm just letting you know that Mina will be moving back in with us tomorrow. Really? That's odd. I don't remember hearing from her for quite some time now. Why is she moving back here? Did something happen? Oh, it's all quite ridiculous. Her mother-in-law and husband were dreadful to her, so they got divorced. Oh my goodness, a divorce? Yes, I was just as surprised as you are. Her first message to me in 2 years, and it's to tell me she's getting divorced. I'll bet that awful mother-in-law of hers drove her away with her constant nagging and badgering. My poor, sweet little Mina. Ah, yes, I can imagine how awful it would be to have a nagging, badgering mother-in-law. In any case, it is what it is. Your assignment for the afternoon is to clean Mina's room from top to bottom. I don't want a single speck of dust left in there, understand? What? I have to clean her old room? Well, of course you do. She's moving back in, isn't she? She'll be needing her old room again, and I want it to be as clean as possible for her when she arrives. Remember, she's still recovering from the emotional struggle of her divorce. Make sure you clean it properly. I hate to be so direct, but I would really appreciate it if you and Mina could clean the room by yourselves. With the two of you on it, it shouldn't take very long. Excuse me? Haven't you seen the weather report? There's a massive cold front on the way. I'm not going to break my back cleaning in freezing weather. You need to do it before it gets too cold. Mom, my baby's due date is less than a month away right now. That room hasn't been cleaned in 2 years, so it's going to be a pretty major undertaking in order to get it all cleaned up. Not to mention, I'm concerned about what sort of dust, mold, and that sort of thing could be in there. I don't believe you. Are you honestly trying to use that same excuse to get out of doing your work again? So what if your due date is so close? I deigned to allow you to marry into this family, Kristen. Don't you forget that. I won't let you repay my magnanimity with this utterly contemptible scorn. This is your responsibility, Kristen. This is what you signed up for. Don't think that I'll let you get away with this reprehensible behavior just because my son, your husband, is overseas on business at the moment. As long as you live in my house, you will live under my rules. This is ridiculous. Are you really so determined to refuse to admit that pregnancy, especially late-term pregnancy, places genuine physical restrictions on a mother's physical activity? Are you really so determined to refuse a direct order by the mother of your husband? When I married my husband, I was decent enough to know my place and obey his mother. I have no idea, nor do I wish to know, what sort of relationship you had with your mother-in-law. But regardless of how things were for you back then, nothing that happened to you would give you the right to treat the wife of your own son in this way. I am sorry, but as a mother, I have a sacred duty to prioritize the health and well-being of the baby inside of me right now. The baby could be born at any time right now, and in all honesty, it's rather appalling that you would be so insistent on demanding so much physical labor from me while I'm in this condition. How dare you! I will not clean Mina's old room. End of conversation. Goodbye. Kristen, what on earth are you doing? I haven't seen you all afternoon, and when I go up to your room, what do I find? You've put a lock on the door to your room? Who do you think you are? Is this the thanks I get for trying to make you into a respectable wife? What did that boy ever see in you? Well, when he gets back from his business trip, I think I'm going to have a long, serious talk with him about your future in this family. For the time being, come out of your room this instant. Don't think you can hide from me in that room all day. You will obey your mother-in-law. That's an order. If I have no other choice, I'll simply have to break the lock with a hammer or something. Ugh, what did I do to deserve such a troublesome daughter-in-law? Kristen! Kristen, I know you're there. You can't ignore me like this. Mina's going to be home any minute now. I order you to get out of your room this very instant. I mean it. Oh, and one other thing. The weather report said that we'll be getting an extremely heavy snowstorm starting this evening into tomorrow morning. And thanks to you slacking off on your duties to me, I haven't had anything to eat for breakfast or lunch. Do you know what I'm going to have to do now? Go down to the convenience store to buy food for myself and Mina. Do you understand the lows you have forced me to stoop to? What if I get food poisoning? When you come out of there, bring your wallet with you. You're going to be the one paying for this, plus interest. You truly dreadful girl. If this is the kind of daughter-in-law you are, I'm utterly terrified for your poor child's future. Unlike you, however, I'm not one to give up. I will straighten you out, Kristen. I will transform you into a real wife and mother like myself, no matter what it takes. Oh no, look at what you've done. It's already starting to snow. I can't believe this. I put on my normal shoes when I left the house because I thought the snow wouldn't start until this evening. I could fall and hurt myself on the way home. Food for 2 people is so heavy, I'm completely exhausted. How could you do this to me, Kristen, after all I've done for you? And what's worse is Mina just told me she'll be at the house any second. I'll bet she was absolutely devastated when I told her that you were being a lazy bum and hadn't cleaned her room yet. It almost brings me to tears just thinking about it. But even through her devastation, she still managed to muster up the courage to say, "It's all right, Mom, I can do it myself." I may have had no luck with a daughter-in-law, but at least my real daughter appreciates me. Well, just you wait, Kristen. You've gone too far with your disrespect this time. You're going to be punished for this, and I know exactly how to punish you. Kristen, what is the meaning of this? I just got home a moment ago. And now I see that you are still holed up in your room? Unbelievable. Mina's already in the house. Don't pretend you didn't notice. You have to have heard her come in. Have you no common decency? Come out here and say hello to her. How long are you going to continue ignoring my messages, Kristen? You haven't even read any of them yet. Don't bother trying to tell me that you don't have your phone. I won't believe such silly lies. Oh, you will regret this disrespect, Kristen. I'll make sure of that. Well then, hopefully this will teach you a lesson about respect. Just be grateful that I allowed you to stay in the shed in order to keep you out of the snow. While you're out there tonight, maybe think twice about ever disrespecting me again. My goodness, that was quite the snowstorm last night, wasn't it? I just came out to the shed to check on you. But, dear me, looks like the shed collapsed under the weight of the snow. I'm sorry, is that inconvenient pregnant belly of yours keeping you from getting up? My goodness, it was satisfying watching you squirm out there. What? Mom, what are you talking about? I just now saw that you had lit up my phone with notifications, and I had a really bad feeling about what was going on, but I'm not at the house right now. I went to my folks' house across town yesterday. Ha! You're not fooling anyone. I just saw you squirming and crying, half buried under the snow in the shed. Well, it's clear you haven't learned your lesson yet. I was thinking about coming to help you, but if you're still intent on lying to me, you can stay out there for a few more hours. Ask yourself, if I was outside, half buried in snow right now, how would I be talking to you on my phone like this? What? That shed was pretty old, so it doesn't surprise me in the least that the snow last night would have crushed it, but again, if there is someone out there squirming around in the snow like you say, it's not me. What? I think you might want to take one more look out there to see who it really is. Why, Kristen! Why didn't you come back to the house yesterday? Ah, so it would seem that the person buried in the snow was actually Mina, huh? The neighbors called me a bit ago. They said that they were concerned when an ambulance showed up at the house, sirens blaring. Well, what was I supposed to think? It was your room, the door was locked, and you weren't answering my messages. How was I supposed to know that Mina was the one asleep in there? Any rational person would have assumed it was you. Her room still hadn't been cleaned, right? Did you think she was just going to lay right down on top of 2 years' worth of dirt and dust? But how did she get into your room? The door was locked. Oh, I have a pretty good guess. Back before she got married and moved out, Mina had a nasty habit of going into my room and taking my things without permission, so eventually I got tired of it and put a lock on the door. Then, after a while of having the door locked, one day my things started vanishing mysteriously once again, so I figured she must have made a copy at some point. I caught her using it once and took it away from her, but I guess she must have had a spare, too. That's beside the point. This is all because you went to your parents' house yesterday. I know, isn't that an incredible coincidence? How can you laugh at a time like this? While I do feel bad for poor Mina, you have to admit it's pretty ironic. But you should also be grateful it wasn't me. If it were me out there rather than Mina, there's no way that both me and the baby would have come out of this okay. And you would have had some pretty serious consequences on your hands. But why didn't you tell me you weren't coming home yesterday? I spoke to you on my way out the door, don't you remember? What? 2 nights ago, I messaged Tony and told him all about the terrible way you've been treating me while he's been overseas, and asked him what he thought I should do. He told me that I should get out of the house for now and go stay with my parents. I called them up right after that, and they came to pick me up yesterday morning. They were planning on at least stopping inside to make an effort to be polite and say hello. But I thought that if you found out what I was doing, you would go berserk and do anything and everything you could to stop me from leaving. So I told them to wait in the car and that I would tell you they said hello. Wait, was this while I was watching TV? It was indeed. So let's recap, shall we? Mina has gained so much weight in the course of her 2 years of being a total freeloader at her now ex-husband's house that you mistook her for a very pregnant me. And without even bothering to check for sure who it was, you threw her into the shed. Did I miss anything? Oh, that's right. The neighbors told me that they had talked to the paramedics, who told them that the reason Mina couldn't get herself out of the snow was because she dislocated her hip when you threw her into the shed. How can this be happening? And come to find out that the real reason for Mina's divorce was actually because she was constantly verbally abusive towards her mother-in-law while her husband was away at work. That apple sure didn't fall very far from the tree. That can't be true! You're lying! No, it's true. Call her ex yourself. In any case, I suppose I'll let you get back to looking after Mina while she's recovering. That's right. You need to hurry up and get back here so you can take care of Mina while she's recovering. I'll pass. My baby will be born any moment now, so I plan on doing some well-deserved rest and relaxation until the big day comes. You can't do that! I have already talked to both Tony and my parents about this, and we're all in agreement that this is the best course of action for everyone involved. But what about me? Correction. The best course of action for everyone involved, except you. Kristen, I need you over here now. I can't look after Mina. I'll miss my shows. I started getting contractions about 5 days after that incident, and it just so happened that my husband Tony got back in town from his business trip just in time for him to be in the delivery room with me for the birth. We are now the happy and proud parents of a healthy baby boy. Meanwhile, in stark contrast to our happiness over the birth of our child, my mother-in-law is neck-deep in serious trouble. Mandatory reporting laws meant the hospital contacted the police, and after a very quick investigation, she was hauled off in the back of a police car. So, while Mina was discharged from the hospital a few days later with a clean bill of health, my mother-in-law is now looking at building a criminal record. Tony and I talked it over, and we decided that considering how things have been going at his mom's house, we would make our temporary stay at my parents' house a permanent one. With her husband giving her the boot, her brother moving out of the house, her mother moving into a jail cell, and her father having already passed away, Mina realized that there was now no one she could mooch off of. One day I got a not-so-subtle text from her asking if she could stay with us at my folks' place for a few days. My quick-thinking husband told her that she could stay as long as she would agree to become a live-in maid for us and my parents. She left his message unread, and we haven't heard from her since.
Hey, Silva. Where are my snacks to go with the beer? And the beer isn't cold as well. Didn't I tell you to put the beer I bought yesterday in the fridge as soon as possible?
Oh, hello, Franz. You're already home? Sorry, I was intending on putting the beer in the refrigerator when I got home.
What? What do you mean you're already home? Can't I return to my own home? Isn't it the wife's job to welcome the husband who's tired from a day of work with perfect preparation? I should have everything I want. What the hell did you get off to anyways?
But you always come home after 5 o'clock, but it's still 4:26 right now. I thought I had an hour left until you got back, which is why I decided to buy some stuff at the supermarket.
What?
I make my schedule for the day assuming that you're going to go home after 5. If you're going to leave the office early, you have to tell me about it. Otherwise, I won't be able to do the preparations in time.
What? Is it still 4:26?
Yeah, it is. Why?
Damn it.
What's the matter?
I went home an hour earlier than I was supposed to. Thought it was already 5 o'clock.
So are you going to go back to the office, or are you going to come home?
I'm going to return to the office.
All right, take care then. Hi, Franz. I'm going to go visit my parents' house tonight.
Huh? Why? Did something happen?
I just got a text saying that my mom sprained her ankle earlier, so I want to check in on her.
What? But isn't your dad with her? And your younger brother who's still in university as well. Can't they take care of her? Why do you have to go when they're already there?
Even if they are family, there are some things that only a fellow woman can help out with, which is why I want to check in on her.
That's impossible.
What?
Silva, you're my wife, you know that? I'm more important than your parents as your husband. The thing you have to prioritize above everything else is me and the things around me.
Yes, but I intend on making dinner and getting the bath ready before I leave, so it shouldn't be a problem for you.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm telling you to stay in the house no matter what.
What? Why? But I just said that I already did all the housework I had to do for the day.
I already told you that's not the problem. As my wife, you have to be there to welcome me home after I come home from work. If you're not there once I get home, I won't forgive you for it, all right?
Sorry, Mom. I think me coming home tonight is going to be impossible. My husband Franz says that I can't leave the house. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm fine. All that happened is that I sprained my ankle, and Dad is going to do the housework for me, so... But still, aren't there some things that only I can help with, and not Dad and Rousseau? I still don't know what's going to be a problem and what's not now that I can't walk properly. It's all right if you don't come tonight. Just come home when I know for sure what I need your help with. All right. Things aren't going well with your husband, Franz, are they? Huh? What makes you think that? I can tell by your tone that you had some sort of fight with him, didn't you? And it's probably not the first time something like this has happened, right? I know it's a bit rude to say such things to someone who's now my child by law, but that person believes that not being able to do any housework is some sort of a sign of masculine superiority, doesn't he? I suppose he's one of those old-fashioned men who believes that the wife should do everything she can to serve her husband. You get that, too? Yes. It's not like I haven't met him before, Sylvia, and I could see it in how he acted since the moment I set eyes on him. I decided to be forgiving and give the two of you my blessing for the marriage, but now I see that might not have been the best decision. It's all right if you can figure something out with him by talking to him, but if he's so stubborn that that still doesn't work, then you'll need to decide what to do about your own future. I guess you're right. I'll try and talk to him, Mother, and if that doesn't work, then... Hello, Mother. Can you talk right now? What is it, Sylvia? I want to talk to you about Franz. He was cheating on me all this time. To think that he was always so proud, telling me how I needed to serve him as a wife. But in reality, he was really just a swine. What? I'm so sorry to hear that, Sylvia. This must be hard for you. To be honest, I was shocked when I heard about it at first, but then I realized that this might actually have been good luck, because divorcing him now will be much easier. You see, one of my friends is Franz's colleague at work, and she told me that he's been making approaches on a young female employee at the office. That asshole Franz. I realize now that he married me just so I could do the housework for him, and that marrying him was a terrible decision. Not just that, but he even calls me a good-for-nothing housewife who can't do anything and is still reliant on her parents. He even says that the food I make tastes bad, the baths I prepare for him are dirty, and that the house is a dumpster because I don't clean it. Apparently he told this female employee about me, and she said to him, "I pity you, Franz. I'm really good at housework, so I would make a great wife." And that's how they started going out, it seems. Wow, I just have no words. I knew he was that kind of husband, but I didn't know that he had absolutely zero respect for you. I'm going to start gathering evidence from now, but I intend on divorcing him as soon as possible. I understand. I think that's the best option as well. I'll tell Dad about your situation, so just tell us if you need any help, all right? Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Silva. Are you seriously not home again? It looks like you haven't been doing the housework recently as well. I had hoped that as my wife you would feel a bit more responsibility, but it can't be helped. I'm going to use my final weapon. I'm going to put the divorce papers on the table. I'll be kind enough to sleep somewhere else tonight, so make sure you use that time to reflect on your mistakes. I'm going to decide whether I'm going to cancel this divorce or not when I get home from work tomorrow and see your attitude towards me. So you better think about what you did wrong, okay? If you don't want to get divorced, then make sure everything's perfect. I don't want there to be a single speck of dust in this house. I want the bath you prepare for me to be crystal clear, and I want you to make those meat and potatoes for me for dinner. Oh, and make sure the beer is cold this time. Silva. Hey, did you prepare my dinner yet? Come home right now and make me dinner. What the fuck? You didn't even do the laundry? I'm not going to have anything to wear to work tomorrow if you don't do the laundry right now, Silva. Answer my texts. Where the hell did you even go off to? Don't tell me that you went against my orders and went to your parents' house, did you? I told you that I wouldn't forgive you if you did, didn't I? Well, it's like you haven't been listening to a word I say these past few days.
Hello, Franz. I'm not going to tell you where I am right now. I noticed that I was getting a ton of notifications. What the hell is this supposed to be?
What do you mean, what is this supposed to be? I thought that you would be a bit more sorry for your own actions yesterday, but this is how you greet me? What the hell are you thinking not being home when I come home from work, Silva? I told you over and over that it's your job as my wife to welcome me home and have everything ready for me after a tiring day of work. I had overtime today, so you should have had plenty of time to prepare your welcome for me when I got home. But you haven't done a thing. What in the world is the meaning of this? Do you want to get divorced with me that badly?
Oh, if it's a divorce you're talking about, I already turned in those divorce papers of yours to the city hall.
What? You turned them in? Wait, that's not what I thought would happen.
Yes, I turned them in. I know it was probably just a coincidence, but you gave me those divorce papers at a really good time. You saved me from doing a lot of work myself. I'll thank you for that at least. Thank you for preparing those divorce papers.
What? What in the world are you talking about? Coincidence? Good timing. It's almost as if you were planning on divorcing me from the start.
Yes, I was, actually. I've been preparing the things I need to get divorced with you for about a month now.
Why?
I mean, the only reason you married me was because you wanted me to do the housework for you. But I turned out to be a terrible maid, right? I'm still relying on my parents and just lay around doing nothing all day.
What? Where did you get that?
The food I make tastes bad, the baths I prepare for you are dirty, and the house is a dumpster because I don't clean it properly.
What? How do you...
I told you already that one of my friends is a colleague of yours at work, right? I heard about everything from her.
Could it be that...
That I also know that you're cheating on me?
So you do know about it then? Shit. I completely forgot that one of your friends was my colleague. Should have been more careful.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about how you messed up or whatever. A lawyer is going to come and see you tomorrow.
A lawyer? You prepared even that? Don't you think that hiring a lawyer is a bit of an over-exaggeration?
By the way, this other woman you were cheating on me with, Martina, was captured by her parents, who came all the way here from the province. They're going to make sure that Martina doesn't try and run away before she pays me an alimony.
Seriously? You're gonna make us pay you for an alimony? What the fuck, Silva? You don't have the right!
Actually, the law says that I do have the right. I think the two of you aren't going to have your contracts renewed at the dispatch company and are going to lose your jobs soon. But I have zero intention of being lenient, so I'm not going to let you two go without paying me first. You can do whatever you want after that, but it won't be my problem anymore.
Wait, hold on, Silva. I think you should think about this a bit more carefully. If you divorce me, then surely you wouldn't be able to support yourself anymore since you're just a housewife with a part-time job. All you have to do is forget all this ever happened and do what I say, like you always did. Just take care of things around the house, and you won't have to worry about money. Stop with these strange ideas of yours, and let's go back to how things were, shall we?
Whoever gave you that idea? I mean, you only earn 2,000 euros a month in the first place, which is just barely more than the salary I get paid every month working as a part-time worker. Oh, and not only that, but I'm going to become a full-time employee in the near future.
What? But you're just a housewife with no skills to speak of. How in the world were you offered a job as a part-time employee?
Who told you that I don't have any skills to speak of, Franz? That's just what you told yourself to make yourself feel better, isn't it? I told the store owner that I was preparing a divorce, and he told me that I could become a full-time employee if I wanted. He said he wanted to bring me the offer earlier, but he had heard that my husband was the kind of person that would get mad if his wife wasn't home when he was. So he thought that letting me be a part-time worker that has more freedom with shifts than a full-time worker would be more convenient for me. So don't worry about me once we get divorced, because I'm going to be able to support myself just fine.
Oh, is that so?
We got off topic, but yeah, I'm going to divorce you. Just listen to what the lawyer tells you and pay what you have to pay, and we'll be done.
Damn it. Fine. If that's what you want, then let's get divorced. I promise I'm going to find happiness with Martina, who's a lot younger than you in the first place. Not only does she say that she's great at doing housework, but she also earns more than you as a dispatch worker. Meaning that she's better than you in every way possible. Silva, I changed my mind. We're not getting divorced. You see, Martina moved in with me right after you left, but it seems she's terrible at doing housework. She doesn't clean the house, and she doesn't iron the clothes after doing the laundry, so I have to go to work with my clothes full of wrinkles. Even her cooking is worse than yours. Eating it makes me want to vomit. But for some reason, she makes each dish with complete confidence, and if I don't eat everything, she gets furious. She even threw a knife at me once. I can't take this anymore. Not only that, I don't have any more money because I had to pay you that alimony, but for some reason she keeps buying expensive ingredients when she cooks. It's been decided that I'm going to be relocated to customer service from next month, and my salary is going to become smaller. At this rate, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pay the bills for my credit card next month. But Martina quit her job at the dispatch company and says she's going to be a housewife from now on and refuses to work. Now that I think of it, I now realize that the food you made was delicious. Yup, I definitely want you more than her. Well, that's the situation, so could you please just come back? Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. I want to eat your meat and potatoes when you come back. Just prepare the food, the bath, and the beer for when I get home from work, just like you always used to do. Oh, and it's fine if you kick Martina out. Actually, I'd be thankful if you did. Alright, see you tomorrow then. Reply to these texts as soon as you see them, alright? Hey, Silva. Why haven't you come home yet? I told you that I was canceling the divorce, didn't I? Martina is still here as well. I told you to kick her out, didn't I? Jesus, the house smells like burnt food. Damn it. Do I have to eat that dark matter food again?
To be honest, I was confused as to why he thought that I would just come back after I had divorced him. By the way, it seems that Franz and Martina got married the day after me and Franz got divorced. According to my friend, who's also a colleague of Franz's, Martina is a dark-type mentality, unstable berserker. As soon as I heard that she threw a knife at Franz when he refused to eat her food, I realized that this description of hers was incredibly accurate. After Franz sent me those texts, it seems that Martina found out how Franz wanted to get back together with me, and so she started screaming and chasing Franz around with a frying pan. The neighbors called the police on them, but obviously this wasn't enough to scare Martina. Franz, who always talked about how the wife was meant to serve the husband, now spends every day under constant fear as to what his new wife might do to him. Not to mention being made to eat her famous dark matter food.